Hi, I'm Andy Maritos, and I welcome you to our shared space. Thank you for coming to our Transgender Day of Remembrance service. Thanks to Russell and to Maximilian from Chrysalis, who've made this broadcast possible, and to everyone who has contributed. Thank you also to Gwendolyn Ann Smith, who started this day as a vigil to honour the memory of trans woman Rita Hester, who was murdered back in 1998. Every year, trans people and their allies across the world gather to say the names of all those trans and non-binary people whose lives have been taken from them by transphobic violence in the last year. This year, the total is a heart-wrenching 375 people murdered globally. It's higher and higher every year. Today, we say their names again. Today, we hear their names. Each of us holds a space in our hearts for everyone who should still be with us. Each lost loved one who should be with their family, their friends, their loves today. Today, my heart is joined with you in sadness, but also in the knowledge that through coming together to remember once more with love, we become part of something bigger. Every year we remember, we reflect, every year we say their names, and every year our shout for inclusion, acceptance, respect, and understanding grows. This year's been the United Kingdom's worst yet for transphobia. Constant assaults within mainstream media, a seemingly insurmountable barrier to simply being able to live a conventional life, a life unremarkable, an authentic and personal life. Transgender Day of Remembrance is our shared time to grieve, a grief for all the horrors wrought across the world through transphobic violence, and a time to grieve for our own shared sorrow. Our knowledge that to be trans right here and now is still a challenge. To be trans but concealed means a lack of authenticity, a closeting of self, a deceit of hiding. To be trans invisible means to risk abuse, transphobia, hate, and worst of all, death. Coming together in our communities, sharing grief and finding companionship is how we find our strength. The strength which grows from knowing we are not alone, that we have friends and allies, we have loves who share the sad times and the happy times, friends who hold us as we cry with the pain of loss and who celebrate with us as we move beyond distress. So now I invite you to light your candle, or perhaps turn off your room light and be lit by our candles, to join with me in grief, in sadness, and in togetherness, holding each other in our hearts and minds as we listen to the names.
I am now going to read the list of names. Some of these will have been mourned already by family and friends. Others will have had no one. Some of the names on this list are not names, but the words name unknown. Natalia Leticia Barbosa de Fonesca, also known as Bia. Gretel Ceballos Ramirez. Felicia Harris. Michelle Ramos Alarcon, also known as Brenda. Antonella R.G., Eric Desiano, Marcos, Paula Bueno, Arininha Paris, Brooklyn Deshauna Smith, name unknown, Susanna Silvestre, Celine Ainadji, Sarah Blackwood, name unknown, Victoria Baskovskaya, also known as Vika, Michel-Ange Francois, Aitiana Valeria Ramirez, name unknown, Violeta Ramirez Perez, Sangeeta, Gabriela Ramirez, Bruna Marins de Oliveira, Emily Iruma, Barbara Valencia, Natasha Nascimento, Joana Domingos, Angel Haynes, also known as Angel Unique, Juliana Piropo, Arsalan, Vicente Gonzalez, Cristina Rodriguez, Samila Marie Winsome, Barbie Girl, Sandy da Silva Gomez, Skylar Heath, Alejandra Estefania Benitez, Mia Zabala, name unknown, Esther Vogue, name unknown, Soledad Rojas Pausa, Fendi Moneza Armstrong, also known as Peaches, Daniela Ramos, Juana Criollo Cabascango, Paquita Brasil, Unieski Cari Herrera, also known as Uni, Sheila de Oliveira, Asia Janae Foster, Kimberly Susan Fial, Chimeshia Sims, also known as Cheche, Bianca Pereira, Cristina Hernandez Castillo, Laura, Michele Monteverde or Michele Campion, Jennifer, Giovanna Angulo Ramos, Raisa Aloe Menezes, Natasha Liverman, Shelin Scarlett Villarreal, Joanna Moreno Mayo, G. Rocha Silva, Tati Quiros, name unknown, Alejandra Salazar Villa, Bruna Tenorio, Titi de Villa, Vicenta Delori, name unknown, Karen Cristina, Juliana de Cruz Costa, Paula Brandao, Sudarshan Suryavanshi, Natalie Lilly, Duda, Yahaim Pugh, Yahaim Barbie, Maria, Yelin Maidana Olmedo, name unknown, name unknown, name unknown, Orenha, Vanessa Sampao, Alejandra Salazar, Marcela Estea Vieira, Iraxe Otero, J.A. De Silva, Courtney Key, also known as Eshe, Alexandria Winchester, La Tigra, Nelly Garcia, Erica, name unknown, name unknown, name unknown, name unknown, Sapa, Toto, Andresa de Chagas, Samantha Riaño Morales, Keron Ravash, Duda Laif, also known as Eduardo Scarton, Tiana Alexander, also known as Davaria, Lupita da Silva, name unknown, Ravel Oliver, Samuel Edmund Damian Valentin, Natalia Maldonado, Angelita Seixas Alves Correa, Nicoli Fernanda, Erica Endrina, Nicole Kilaneta, R. Bondok, Malevola Lessa, also known as Leticia, Mimi Lessa, Gudu, Diana Scarlett Buenos Salinas, Bianca Banks, also known as Muffin, Gala Ocampo Figueroa, Naomi Alonso, Dominique Jackson, F. Escalante, Vivian Lopez, name unknown, 50 bands, Veronica Solano, Michelle Almeida, Duda dos Santos, Amanda Fagundes, Alexis Braxton, also known as Kimi Icon Braxton, Angie Priscilla Genois Arevalo, Giovanna Betancourt Vergara, Alessandra Ferrati, Natasha Santos, Luna Abascal, Camila, Poyuca Alves de Souza, Andrea Nesta Moreno Castillo, Manuela Orta, L.E. Parama, Gerusa Oliveira Reyes, Brianna Camila Espinosa Sanchez, Diana Miranda, Emilia Herrera Arbrecht, China Carrillo, Alicia Rodriguez, Soletta, Lorena Muniz, Jasmine Bright, also known as Jazzy, Jeffrey Bright, also known as JJ, Natasha De Paz Gomez, Suya, Jenna Franks, Eva Carvalho, India, Julie Catamine, Fabiola Pamela Ramirez, Diamond Carie Sanders, also known as Diamond Nicole, name unknown, Michele Camara, Jesus Occhiando, also known as La Occhiando, Alexandra Montero, Taina, name unknown, Lala Contreras, Itu dos Santos, Mirash Gunesh, Rica Rodriguez Sales, Luana Pereira dos Santos, Paula Calderon, Carolyn Monroe Champarali, Rihanna Pardo, name unknown, Niharika Narasimharamurthy, Gasparina, Natalie Mendez Alves, Vanessa Zuniga, Chris Brandon Lewis, Daniela, Deborah Lovenstein, Jennifer Zapata, Jaida Peterson, Fanny, name unknown, Mumtaz, Pietra Valentina, Vida Bruno, Madalena Leta, Bubli, Polemikion, Marcin Havas, Dominique Lucius, Dimitra Kalogianis, Marthia Marcita, name unknown, Kendra, La Barbie, Milena Massafera, Sofia Michaela Catan, name unknown, Josefina Cruceno, Pet Galea, Stephanie, Yere Hurtado, Amin Trijahanon, Melibeth Yulitza, Remy Fennell, Yara Pereira dos Santos, Vicky Nieva, Mona Lisa Leda, Chanu, Tiara Banks, Iris Santos, Natalia Smut Lopez, Andressa Santos, Tiffany Thomas, FDSC Praga de Oliveira, Zashi Zueli del Cid Velasquez, Charlotte Escobar Ramos, Emanuele Castro, Luana Morai, J.S. Cardoso, Jacqueline Saveri Silva, Kerry Washington, also known as Bobo, name unknown, Thomas Hardin, Yahaira de Alto Balenciaga, Whispering Wind Bear Spirit, Danny Henson, Sophie Vasquez, name unknown, Serenity Hollis, Cielo de Lucha, Reina Fernandez Villanueva, name unknown, name unknown, Titi Batista des Chagas, Valerie Pereira, Eliana Castillo, Ebeng Meyer, name unknown, Oliver Taylor, also known as Ollie, Roberta Fernandez, Ji Bang Kiao, Kendra Torres Galena, Laura Micheley, Karencita Mejia Núñez. Ilas. Name unknown. Bobby. Claudia Madonna Ramirez. Poe Black. Oliver Johnson, also known as Legion, also known as Tommy. Rabia Carvalho. Roba. Julieth Balmaceda. Name unknown. Casey Wilson. Tainara Moraes. Pamela, also known as Pam. S. Militante. Name unknown. Santiago Cancinos. Diana Cervantes. Ligia. Catalea Martinez Machado. Ceci Caricia Expata. Luciana Moscoso. Andrea Gonzalez. Danny Benavides. Tierra Marie Lewis. Nicole Xavier Azevedo. Michelle. Elizabeth Rondon. Name unknown. Nova Rue Watson, also known as E.J. Boykin. Daniela Silva. Hombre Audrey Istia. Calandra Salva Guedes. Wanda Soraya de la Fuente. Pompea Ramos. Shirley Mejia Sanchez. Name unknown. Jaconda. Adrieli. Carla Garacha Dominguez, also known as La Garacha. Bebe. Maria Eduarda. T. Olem Vijay Kumar. Name unknown. Adriana Diaz. Natasha Galvayo. Yvonne Alvarez. Grace Mahoro. Crismi Parola. Isabella Gazon Monsalver. Tatiana. Fabiana da Silva Lucas. Kendra Gonzalez. Valeria Carrasco. Colegai. Roberta da Silva. Dani Cardoso de Souza. Fremando Bobadilla. Shafiq. Ruby Dominguez. Taya Ashton. Fatima Ben Barrios. Name unknown. Alina Sanchez. Victoria Nunez, also known as Vicky. Brian Galan. Fabiola Rivera. Name unknown. Name unknown. Prachi. Shai Vanderpump. Badega. Sumana Dar. Name unknown. Cindy Jones Torres. Sabrina Martin. Joanna. G.A. De Silva, also known as Gil Mendez or Gigi. Coco Chanel Wortham. Name unknown. Michelle Gonzalez Cortez, also known as Pitufa, or Robert and Janice Gonzalez Cortez. Valentina Gamez. Name unknown. Bruna. Fernanda Alvarado. Pamela Lorani. Merida. Dandara Broom. Swellen Curry. Antonea. Diana. Raqueli. Eloisa Ferreira. Camila Arciela. Mia Moraes. Nurai Nuriev. Lorani Lopez Letao. Dodo Bezerra da Silva. Catalina Santos Arevalo, Darla. Name unknown. Pooh Johnson, also known as Titaniza Mua. Name unknown. Name unknown. Rebecca Sampaio, also known as Rihanna Santos de Matos. Ana Paula Lopez de Santos. Lola Santos. Name unknown. Dakshayani. Zoela Rose Martinez, also known as Zoe. Evelyn Montini. Kadir Murad Suzbir. Devani Cardiel. Desaya Monet Smith. Raquel. Kelly Alves. Alessandra Drummond. Brianna Ulmer, also known as Brianna Hamilton. Ivana Angeline Macedo. Name unknown. Muslima Hassim. Gina Rodriguez Sinueri. Paulette. Tatiana Garcia. Name unknown. Artambung. B. Kia Lapri Cartier. Please take a moment to have a think about all of these people who have been lost to violence, not because of anything they've done or said, but because of who they are and the fact that people around them have hated them. I would also like to take a moment to remember that these are not the names that we know for definite that these people would like to be remembered by. If we have got any of these wrong through fault of recording, we are sorry, both to those people and to anyone who loves and remembers them.
20th of November, Trans Day of Remembrance. A day for solidarity as an ally with our trans communities across the world. A day to come together, reflect and commemorate the lives of those who have died through bigotry and hatred across the world for being them. No other crime than being their authentic selves. A day also to reflect and to consider how we take forward in solidarity the needs of society to change and to educate people on the issues that trans community face, and to ensure that we play our part as actively as possible in helping to change that.
What does Transgender Day of Remembrance mean to me? It's a heart-wrenching farewell to those whose lives have been taken from them through the violence of transphobia this year. And yet it's also renewed passion to go on making the world a better place. Because if trans people still transition even in the harshest of environments, imagine what each and every one of us could achieve in a healthy world free of denial, discrimination and abuse.
I was asked what Trans Day of Remembrance means to me as parent of a trans child. I'm always desperately sad to see the names of those who've lost their lives to violence over the last year just for being who they are, and to reflect on the levels of violence and abuse against trans people that more often than not goes unnoticed and unpunished. Everyone who has lost their life was at some point someone's partner, family member, friend, colleague or neighbour. Whether or not they had someone to love and be loved by, the least we can do as allies is remember their existence and continue to support the rights of all trans people to live their lives as their authentic selves without having to deal with injustice and hate.
Trans Day of Remembrance means simply to me a chance to reflect on the loss of potential in this world, a loss of contribution, a loss of lives which could have been beautifully lived amongst us, with us and for us. And it's a chance to sit back and just wonder why we need to have these crimes against people who are simply being themselves. Why is that such a crime?
Thank you for coming. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones tonight and always.